If I ask you, who is the global power and who runs the world, I use it's so powerful that countries like India, Brazil, and China are not even close. The simple answer is the military, diplomacy, and the capitalism. And in this tapestry of the global dynamics, we have successfully moved from a bipolar world to a multipolar world. We find ourselves on a stage where countries like India, China, and Japan put forth their ideology to grab the global attention. But I believe the concept of multipolarism is a bit chaotic and its consequences may bring to the global instability. I do not mean that these countries should compromise with their sovereignty, but when competing nations plunge their power to become the global leader, it turns out to be a catastrophic blunder. But when everybody competes, nobody gonna win. And we literally ended up with a world with no leader, a good leader. And how can we expect stability in a leaderless world? Literally, everybody's responsibility is no one's responsibility. And that brought the world to face the disastrous effect of the climate change, poverty, hunger, and more importantly, terrorism. It was never been who should be the global leader, but there is a factor of capability that really decides the world's fate. The United States is not only capable militarily, but with time, data, money, and technology. I think I have talked much about the way these conventional territorial countries have controlled the power dynamics. You can never predict the global shift in the power. A new order is emerging in the world right now, which is boundaryless, capital intensive, and more importantly, technologically advanced, that is data driven. And that is the digital order. We live in a digital space by tech giants. Literally, very big tech giants can really decide what I'm going to wear, what are my career options, what I'm going to watch, and more importantly, my perception. It is very evident that how much you even try to depart will not be able to get rid of the cyberspace and the internet. We are so addicted to our mobile phones that we cannot even imagine a life without a phone. Russian invasion supported by the deadliest hacker, cyber attacks, drone attacks, and military attacks, which is just sufficient to make someone stand on his knees. But guess what? A tiny economy like Ukraine still stood firm and sought for its freedom. Now the question is, how? Companies like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Cloudflare, ESET, and every other tech giants supported Ukraine to stay connected to the whole world and helped Ukraine from the cyber attacks of Russia. I'm pretty sure if these tech giants wouldn't have been there, Zelensky would have vanished within few hours of the invasion. It clearly depicts the power of technology and the power of this superpower like US and its allies. They can really change the political culture of a country by manipulating millions of minds. When I was growing up, I was often told that nature and nurture shapes your identity. But now, nature, nurture, and more importantly, the algorithm shapes our identity and decides our future. Advancement with the technology is a revolutionary. This technological revolution is not just important for the digital space, the whole world's economy is somewhere dependent upon this. And you know the worst thing about this technology? There is no stop button on this technological proliferation, which is just killing your ability to think and question. These tech giants really aware about the pros and cons of this tech advancement. But still then they promote it very covertly, showcasing themselves as ethical. The question pops up once again, why do they do so? Look, as per my experience so far, Our lust for the power have exactly blurred the lines between our obsession and ambition. And what could be a better example other than this crony capitalism? We human beings have turned out to be the bloody rats of one of the largest socio-economic experiments that has ever tried on the human beings. The surveillance capitalism. They track my browsing history, my location, what I order, whom I stalk, and more importantly, my Netflix password. And I think our digital footprint is so widespread that these companies make a digital versions of ourselves, and this version enables them to make wealth out of it by manipulating millions of minds just to promote certain advertisements. Do I get any royalty out of the wealth that has been generated from the data that has been extracted from me? No, because I love to waste my time on certain applications which is just available free. The algorithm is one of the most notorious thing. It has been set or tuned in such a way that we tend to unlock our phone 100 times a day, and 90% of the time just do doom scrolling, waste our time on the YouTube shorts, Instagram reels, and many more crap content. Actually, we do nothing in our phone productive whole the day. Just waste our time and feeding data to these companies and letting them to be a fat sack which is just craving for the data all the day. We have a very false conception that these services are available for free. No. Remember that if anything is sold to you for free, then you are the product. Sadly, these tools are not created to be used as a tool to reduce the communication gap. Instead, just manipulating millions of minds under the trial that I have talked about, the surveillance capitalism. I think we all remember that senator inquiry in the US that 37% of the teenage girls were exposed to the unwanted nudity, but a billion-dollar company just said sorry.
Right now, to apologize to the victims who have been harmed by your product. Show them the pictures. Would you like to apologize for what you've done to these good people?
We do not see any effort from these companies to stop such mischievous activities that's spoiling our future. Not only this Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube shows this type of content which is just outrageous and sensual, but this mainstream platform has adopted these strategies to gain more and more views. The maths is very simple. More views, more ads, and more wealth. And what we lose are valuable time and capacity to think productively. And many more crafts that is available on the YouTube, TikTok, or any other streaming platform. I think the days are not ahead that our future generations will losing its attention span. They are moving towards an attitude of zero tolerance. And I'll not be surprised they'll be lacking in their endeavor or enthusiasm to discover something, to innovate something, and to think something beyond their imagination. These things actually making us fool. They're reducing our IQ level, and we all the day just doing the doom scrolling. That is making us more and more idiot over the period of time. Then what do we do? Blame the government. But believe me, the policy of the government is a bit controversial for me. I believe people who just holding the position or holding the power, they are just the bots, the army bots of the lobbyists, of those lobbyists who just tend to generate wealth by manipulating people. Most of the people, including you and me, assume that our data is protected when it is accessed by the mobile phone companies and any other third-party application. I believe that these companies maintain a high standard ethical norm which is abide by the international laws for the data protection. Europe's GDPR and the US laws for the data protection are always expected to do such. But believe me, these are just mere toothless tigers. They give a legal framework to this company to compromise my right to privacy. There is a clear-cut trade-off between the right to speak and the right to privacy. When we conceive a notion that our right to speak is well strengthened when we use a social media application, at the same time we compromise our right to privacy. Whenever we upload any photo, video, or audio in the social media platform, that can be well mocked to carry out antisocial activities.
Actor Rashmika has become a victim now. Deepfake video menace. Once again surfacing. Now an old video was used to create a fake Rashmika.
Our privacy is well commercialized in the digital market of the cyberspace. We're literally suffering from the curse of technological advancement. Is there any way to get rid of such? Absolutely not. You cannot have a monastic life in a materialized world, and there is no place for someone else who is technologically backward. You cannot live in a life which is a bubble of ignorance. The only way possible is to get rid of such curse is to limit your mobile phone uses or internet uses. There are multiple applications in the internet available that can limit your usage. Just use that. Just see the world how beautiful it is. With this note, I just want to conclude that give yourself enough room to think mindfully. Play soccer, read books, hang out with friends, and there are multiple ways to feed your brain with dopamine. Take the control of your own thoughts and actions, and don't be over dependent upon this AI to let your brain to become a junk.